Welcome back to Open Minded. Today I'm joined by my neighbour, Malcolm, who is very immersed in sports and cricket. Would you say cricket's your number one?
Used to be my number one.
So we're going to dive into Malcolm's mindset when it comes to cricket. So the first thing I'd ask you, Malcolm, is what is something which helped you stay switched on in cricket, especially with it being such a long game?
Phew. I used to have a little sort of mantra that I used to say to myself before facing every single ball, and I don't know how I got into it to start with, but it became just something that I did. It was part of my setup for every single ball, and I used to sort of take my stance and be looking at the bowler on as he walked back on his run up. I was watching the ball in his hand, and I'd just be quietly saying to myself, concentrate, treat every ball on its merits, and enjoy it.
I like the enjoy compartment.
Yeah,
So when you were playing at your best and you were enjoying your cricket, how did that feel?
absolutely fantastic. It was like I was walking on cloud nine because when things worked, I used to get purple patches, if you like, each season. I'd be lucky if I got more than one in a season. But for about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I knew that whenever I went out to bat, I was very likely to get a 50 or more. And I just felt it was preordained almost that I knew I was going to get a score, proper score. But the other thing was, it felt like I had all the time in the world. I didn't have to worry about anything or fidget in the crease or anything. I just felt I had, even to a good ball or a ball that surprised me, bowler, might have got the ball to really jump and bite or something like that. I still felt I had, it didn't bother me, and I just had all the time in the world. It was a
So how does
really,
that compare to when you weren't playing at your best?
um, I didn't used to enjoy it when I wasn't playing at my best.
Is that because you weren't playing at your best, or did something trigger that?
I don't know. I never had as much time. When I wasn't playing at my best, I seemed rushed. I could be, I wasn't settled in my mind. When you're playing really well, and I think it applies to most sports, certainly to golf, I know it applies. Um, but from a cricketing point of view, I always used to feel that I didn't have any other things on my mind. And I used to be almost in a dream
Like a
sometimes.
flow state?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I just, as I say, I felt I'd got twice the time to do everything.
So if you had to give some advice to like a cricketer to help them achieve that flow state, what would you say?
What I would definitely say is you've got to give yourself every possible advantage. So before you go into bat, perhaps walk around the boundary a bit, watch what's happening in the game, see who's bowling well, um, and just see as much as you can, see how the ball's reacting to the pitch and get an idea of the light around you. But when a wicket falls and you're going out to the crease, take your time walking out to the crease. Don't rush it. Don't gallop out, I would say. Um, because what you're then doing, you're looking around at field positions. Your eyes are becoming accustomed to the light because what you're doing, it's all very well being on the sideline, but you're actually going on stage. When you go to the middle, you're on stage, and it's a completely different environment. It might look the same as a bit of a net practice or whatever, but you're actually on stage, and you're actually walking into a scene. And so you have to get used to it, and you have to give yourself as many chances as possible to feel comfortable. Then don't try and smash the first ball for 4 or 6 or anything like that. Give yourself a little time, because although you've seen it from the side and you've got an idea of what a bowler might be doing or how the ball might be responding, how the wicket's playing, until you're actually there and it's right in front of you, and you've got to deal with it. You don't know until you've had a few balls what's going to happen. Obviously, if somebody bowls you a load of rubbish and you've got the chance to hit it for a boundary, hit it. But don't take any don't take too many early risks, I would say.
Was your mindset something you thought about when you played cricket?
Yes, it was as I grew older, because I realised I could identify things about the way I was approaching the game that would help me. But to start with, all I was interested in was really just performing, I suppose, without really thinking too much about it, which meant that if I came across difficulties, I might not know how to overcome them to start with. And then as you begin to think about the game and perhaps learn from others, then everything you've done before, lots of things they've done before, more experienced players you take on board. And so yes, mindset. Cricket's one of those weird games where mindset is very important, I think.
So closing off for this episode of Open Minded, Macolm, is there anything else related to your mindset in cricket you'd like to express at all?
I loved the battle. I mean, particularly when I was an all-rounder, so I bowled a lot as well. But I loved the battle, particularly with the ball when I was bowling against somebody who I respected. I loved working out how I might get them out. Because there's some very, very good people I played against, and we established some fantastic relationships. But I'm trying to outthink him all the time, and he's trying to get into my head as well. But I loved that. I loved that. It's like a chess match almost. That's why some people say cricket's really boring and slow. Not this Ashes series, but no, I love that. I love the sort of head to head.
The strategy side of it.
Yes, absolutely. Luring somebody into a little trap.
Brilliant. Well, Macolm, thank you for coming on Open Minded. That's been Macolm, Open Minded. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.